don't miss second of this. So welcome. Today is March 6th. It is 12:03. We're going to start just a couple minutes late. I know a couple of you were jumping in late. I am Sydney Seymour. I'm the regional technology trainer for the Carolinas region. Proudly serve 43 market centers, close to 9,000 associates. KWU Master Faculty Labs Advisor, and really passionate about making sure that every agent in our region has awareness of the power of technology, and specifically the power of command. I always say, if we can help you save $1 or a minute of your time, then I think that's a little bit of a win, and let's figure out how we can really maximize that. So we're going to jump right in because I think we will use the entire hour today. I dropped a couple links in chat. I will drop them in chat again, and I will drop them in chat periodically as well. These are two links. So the first one is to our Carolinas region Facebook page. So that's where we put a lot of upcoming training, whether it's in person, whether it's virtual. So you'll definitely want to make sure to follow that. And then, as you can see, you had to allow recording on your end. We are recording this, and we record any workshop that we can, whether it's technology or different things. Those are available on our YouTube channel, which is the second link in there. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you go follow or subscribe to that so that you can get notified when we have new information. So with that, we are going to jump on in. I did see in chat, as you're joining us, feel free to drop your name and the location or the area that you cover. My goal, my intention is with a lot of these workshops that we make digital connections that could turn into amazing referral partners. So if you haven't already, make sure that you just drop in chat your area that you work out of. We might have someone that lives in Charlotte that's looking for an amazing referral partner in Charleston. So we just want to make sure that we're getting those referrals as much as we can. I see we've got some unbelievable market centers here as well. So we've got some people that are joining us from the market center, some people that are in their house, some people are in their car. If you're in your car, please be careful. Eyes on the road, make sure we're not actually doing anything. We're just maybe following along and paying attention. So with that, like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. What we're going to talk about today is how to end up on page 1 of Google. So who would like to do that? Just by yes or no? Yeah, I see a lot of hands. So we want to show up higher potentially, right? So we want to make sure that we're showing up so that when people are actually Googling you, they're finding you. But what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about 3 tips that allow you to start to show higher on that Google search. We are going to go through a lot of things that you will want to take action on. We are not necessarily going to take action or immediate action on the things here. So I'm going to give you some resources. We're going to talk about some different things through here. However, this is not going to be a, okay, now you're going to go in and click here and do this to your website type of class. We've got amazing training for that, both through the KWU technology team that you can access. And I know all of you have an absolutely incredible market center tech trainer that I'm sure is teaching website classes or different things there. So we're going to think kind of like broad and then kind of chunk that down to what we can do. So first things first, and this is a question for you, and I'll have you just answer this in chat. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. If you want to write like, I'm not, or I don't know, that's fine. But my first question for you is, how are you communicating and sharing your website? So I'll give you just a moment to drop your answer in chat. So if I was a client, or I was just someone that lived in your area, how would I know to even go to your website? So how are you communicating? And if you're not, it's okay to write, I'm not currently. I'll give this just a moment and we'll kind of see what people are coming up with. And I will read this back just because I know people are potentially watching the recording later, so it's valuable for them to hear this. So we've got a lot of people being honest and saying I'm not. So thank you for your honesty with that. We have some people saying they're in social media, any newsletters that you're sending out, your email signature. We see a lot of social media, newsletters, some smart plans, always on posts and marketing materials. We've got a Linktree, Zillow, social media platforms, monthly newsletters. Again, lots of social media, Facebook specifically, Linktree. I'm not. Link on social media and word of mouth, social media, smart plans, social media, and in person, Instagram, email, social media. Okay, so some postcards. So just sold social media posts. That might be a QR code as well. Digital business card with every new contact. Google Business Profile, and then Linktree. So it does seem like a lot of you said, I'm actually not, which is fine. You're in the right space if you're not. So I have a follow-up question to you. Why do you think so many people go to Zillow? So I'll have you write your answer in chat. Why do you think so many people go to Zillow? Okay, so we're seeing a lot of it's easy. I'm going to assume that it's easy, meaning like I can search easily there. I search for something and it comes up. It's marketed everywhere. It's first on Google. There's a Google search. Zillow has all of the information. Convenient, branding, marketing, brand awareness, brand. It's easy. Seeing the cost of homes. They don't know where else to go. I think that's a great point. It's synonymous with home searching, Zillow. Okay, cool. So everybody knows about Zillow. It's free. Yeah, I think that's a great point too. Okay, cool. So Gary Keller says something that if you're not the mayor of real estate in your town, you started too large. So if you're not the mayor of real estate in your town, you've started too large. And here's what we mean by that. If I live in, so I live in Winter Park. I live right outside of Orlando in Florida. I think most of you know that. If I were to say I'm going to be the Orlando real estate agent, I'm probably not going to win that battle because Zillow is going to win that, or whoever's paying the most money for SEO is going to win that. But if I think really small and I think, well, I live in this specific area and I'm going to start by being the mayor of real estate in that specific area, and that's what I'm going to put on my website, and that's what I'm going to have on social media, and that's what I'm going to blog about, and that's what I'm going to write about, then I start to, by thinking smaller, I can actually go larger. And so what we see sometimes is so often people say, like, I have a website, here's everything that's happening in Charlotte. Here's everything that's happening in Greenville. Here's everything that's happening at the coast. And you didn't think small enough from the very beginning. So while we can't fight Zillow, that's fine. I encourage you to really think about, like, what do I want to be known for, and think smaller around that, and then build out from there. And we're going to talk about some best practices really around that. I think it's interesting that most people in the chat said everybody goes to Zillow because they know about it. I'm going to compare your website to an open house. If you weren't really getting the address out there a lot, nobody would know where to go. So I think sometimes we have to think, do people not go to my website because they don't know about it? Could I do a better job of getting it out there? Am I sharing it with everyone? I know that this would never happen on this Zoom, but a lot of times I start off by asking, what's your website? And like 60% of the people in the classroom don't know what it is. So if you don't necessarily know what your website is, how can we expect others to visit your site? So I think that's first things first, is I want you to write down, and I want you to challenge yourself. How many people do you want to share your website with every single day? Because for us to increase and to show up higher on Google, we have to have more visitors. And so we have to figure out, how can we get this in front of more people? So maybe it's a challenge, and literally maybe it's just that you take the link and you text it to 10 of your friends a day and say, hey, I have this new site. I know you love to give feedback. I'd love for you to search locally and just let me know what you think about it. Hey, I have this new site and it allows you to see the sold homes in your area. I know you always love to keep up to date with that. Here's an easy way that you can find that. Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, right? Hey, I have this new site. I know you're always looking for XYZ vendor. I've got a vendor list on there. Wanted to make sure you have this so you have like a digital copy of it. And so I would encourage you to challenge yourself that I'm going to make 10 phone calls a day, and then maybe that's just your follow-up text. So I call the 10 people that I call a day, and then my follow-up text is, hey, it was really great chatting with you. I don't think I mentioned that I have this resource that, based off of our conversation, might help you in XYZ. And then we're just immediately sending the website out there. Because if we're not sending it out, people aren't visiting. That's the first thing that has to happen. We have to get more visitors to it for that. So let's do this first. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to actually take like just a little quick tour of your website, because I think what happens so often is we don't always know how to talk about our website. And so we just don't put it out there for that. So as this is pulling up and I start to look, for those of you that are using your website, you feel at a higher level, I'd love for you to drop in chat just so others can see.
Will you ask Mom for the business credit card?
Mute. Okay. I'd love for you to just write in chat, what are some of your favorite features on your KW website, or what do you like about real estate search sites in general? So think like a consumer, but thinking about like, what do you like? What do you like? Why do you like to go to sites? Why do you think your consumers like to go to sites? So I'll give you just a moment to kind of think about that and to see what we have there. So let's see. We've got some coming in already. So yeah, I like the what is my home worth? So that is something that you could create on a custom page or a landing page. I love the blogs and the ability to put testimonials out there. We love that it's easy to use. I like how easy it is to add blog posts, featured properties, visual maps and mapping features. Let's see, mortgage calculator, school information, how much your home is worth, mortgage calculator, easy to get information, the blogs as well, visual representation, clean, not cluttered, love that as well. So let's go through and let's just do, I know there's some people on this call that are like, I've already set up my website and I feel really comfortable with it. I know there's some people here that have never really seen it. So let's just go through a quick really viewpoint. Now you've got a team website and an individual agent website. I'm on an individual agent website, very out of the box. I haven't done a lot of changes with this. I do that intentionally so that I can have it like just out of the box for training. So you'll see we've got these dynamic photos here where we're going through different photos. Those are completely customizable. So if you have specific areas where you work and you want to change those, you can go through and change those in the editor. We've got pages up here. So we've got the About Me page, we've got the search properties page, but you'll see it's very similar to like a Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, where literally we come here and it's very clear and we have a clear understanding of what we're doing here. We're going to search for properties. So it's nice there above the fold. We don't have to scroll for that. We do have a blog. We'll talk a little bit about that today. Under more, this is where if we're adding any additional custom pages, this is where those could live. So if you've got neighborhood pages or curious to know what your home is worth, mortgage calculator, or why should you work with Keller Williams, anything like that, those will all live here. And then we do have the ability to log in as well, which we would want to make sure our consumers are doing because we have visibility then into what they're looking at. You've got your social media icons up here where they can follow you. Your website can be translated into all of these different languages, which is really incredible. So if you have clients that speak an additional language and they prefer that your website is in that language, they can come here at any time and make a change to that. We're going to make sure that we don't make a change to that on my end. And then down here, we have the ability to add or to customize featured properties, which is a huge thing that was a big request by most of the agents. And then we've got your blog down here. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this today. So we've got 4 blog posts that Keller Williams created for you that are automatically there. They will live there unless you choose to remove them. And we can add additional blogs as well. And then on the bottom of each page, we're always going to have that sign in page where they can sign up here for market updates, contact information, all of that. First name, last name, email, phone number, and then any sort of message, and then all of your contact information here as well. So this is just very much an overview of the front page here. Now, I'm curious, do you think that, and you can just do a yes or no, do you feel like this is a nice, clean look for people to be able to search for properties? If we just wanted to come to a website and we wanted to search for properties, yeah, okay, great. So just to give you a little bit of background on this, we lab everything at Keller Williams. You know that. We lab a lot of it with agents. We do not lab consumer stuff with agents because quite frankly, all of you think like agents, which is the way we should be thinking, right? So we lab this with consumers to hear from them. Do you like this? Does this, if you came to this, what would you think you would do on this page? Right. And so we lab this with them. And I see in the chat as well, some people are saying it's actually very similar to Zillow, which is really like that ease of use for that. So let's talk about some of the most amazing features that I think you have on your website that you literally do not have to do anything to set up, and how we can use that to get more people to your site. So if we see here that this is where I can search for properties, I love when I teach these classes to just be absolutely ridiculous and search for properties in Beverly Hills, California. So we're just gonna search. We're gonna search by a city. We could do really whatever we want to be able to search. So we're gonna search for Beverly Hills, California. And then we're just gonna click on that city and then it's gonna pop up and you'll see it's gonna really mirror and mimic a lot of those third-party sites of where we have a map view on one side and a list view on the other side. And so I'm curious, 1 to 10, 1 being this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, 10 being I really love this and I think it's beautiful. Where would you rate this? I'll have you drop your answers in chat. So we're getting some 9s, we're getting some 8s, we got a 10. Okay, so we're getting like fairly high things across the board. I haven't seen any points yet. I was expecting some like 7.6, but we haven't seen that yet. And I know this seems very basic, but I think it's really important that you have awareness of this because we need to be excited about our site to get consumers to it. So as soon as we come in here and we search, we've got the properties for sale over on the left. We've got that really nice map view over here on the right. We can zoom in and out. We can get really hyper local with that. Now you'll notice that the default view is for sale. That's because we generally know that people that are coming to your website want to see what's available. However, you do have a drop down right here where we can also see solds. Now, if I were to do this in California, no data would come up. They don't allow sold data in California. But I know in almost all of our MLSs, short of Colombia, I believe they don't allow it. You could come in here and you could say sold, and then you could literally take that link and you could say, you know, maybe it's a friend that lives in your neighborhood and you say like, hey, I know you're always interested in what's selling in our specific area. It looks like this is what's sold in the last, month or 7 days, whatever it is, and send them that link. So we can come in here at any time and then just text links, email links, whatever you'd like to do for that. Over here, we've got the price. So that's just if we wanted to kind of drill that down and say, actually don't want to see anything that's below this price or above this price, we can do that as well. We can also filter by bedrooms, baths, and we've got exact match there, which is nice. So we can say, it has to have 2 bedrooms, no more, no less. We can choose that as well. And then also property type. Is it a house? Is it a condo? And then also the filters. So this is really nice. We've got some new updates here. Again, price range, bedroom, bath, property type, living area, lot size, the year that it was built. We've got features. You can add your own keywords. Again, it's reading, and so it has to be entered into the MLS description, listing types, and then open house or price reduction. I love the price reduction filter to be able to send to people and say, here's a list of all the homes in this specific area that have a price reduction in the last 7 days. Now you might be thinking I can do all of this through MLS. So yeah, it's cool that I have this site for that. Remember, you can only do all of this through MLS where you are a member. So that's something that I think is so powerful through our website is that you have national and international search capability. So for example, if you live in Charlotte and you have listed someone's property, and the second that they sell this property, they are moving to Atlanta, you could actually set them up for a search through your website in Atlanta. And then you can say, as soon as we get to a point here where we're listing the property that you feel comfortable and confident, I'll get you in touch with a member of my Keller Williams team in Atlanta that's going to take amazing care of you. And so again, we feel like the referral handoff, we tend to see that ranks higher because they feel like, oh, well, Sydney might live in Charlotte, but she was actually able to also help me in Atlanta. So remember that you're not bound by MLS with this consumer site. They can search anywhere across the country, anywhere in Canada, and up to 30 additional countries as well. So really trying to have that unbelievable feature where anybody can search anywhere across the country. From here, we can go into an actual listing. So if we had, this is my property right here, and I want to send information about this actual listing, I could send this to them. Here's a tip of maybe something that you want to do prior to the listing appointment. So maybe I have a listing appointment at 123 Main Street later this afternoon. I listed this property at 525 North Rexford Drive. I'm going to go to my website. I'm going to find this property and I'm going to send this link via text before I go on the listing appointment. And I'm going to say, hey, Steve, I really look forward to meeting with you later this afternoon to get your home listed. Wanted to show you how your home is going to appear on my website as soon as we get that into the local MLS and get this out internationally. So we're just showing them we're creating our value, but we're also sending our website out to additional people. And again, just make sure it's obviously one of your listings. You have permission for that and not somebody else's. But we can just think of just different ways that we're getting our website out so that we have more traffic that's coming to it. Cool. So that is tip number one. We have to change the consumer behavior. We have to change why should they be coming to our site? Because here's the thing. If we are just sending out a website that looks like this, and we're saying you should do something with it, they're not doing anything with it. I think we would all agree with that. However, if we're going in deeper and we're saying, here's a list of what sold recently, here's a new listing that I thought you might want to see information out. Maybe you're just looking one night and you're like, holy cow, that's the most beautiful kitchen I've ever seen. Send that to your best friend. Stop sending it from something else. So finding reasons that we can take this and share this out. And this might be like, again, I saw great responses. Is it in your email signature? And is it in your email signature not as, this is mine, legacytrading.kw.com that nobody would click on? Is it in your email signature listed as, click here to see new homes to the market? Click here for a list of recent solds, whatever it might be, right? But it's got to be like the MOFR, make offer for immediate response. By me clicking on this, what do I get? So I would encourage you, again, this is how we started, pick your number every day and say, this is how many people I'm going to send my website to, and for whatever reason it is. Monica had a great idea. We can also filter by open houses. Maybe you just have friends that like love to live a real life HGTV and you're like, I don't want to do that every weekend with them, but I love that for them. Cool. Here's how we're going to show you. Here's all the open houses that are coming. We can do, again, recently, price reduction in the last 7 days. One of my favorite things to do too, it's so like cheesy, but people love it, is when the Powerball gets ridiculously high and it's like $500 million or whatever it is. Just go find the most expensive house in your area and send that to them and say, hey, I know we're playing the Powerball together. When you win all the money and you want to buy this house, don't forget I can be your real estate agent. People love to look at properties. We know that. We know that because people go to Zillow in droves, but they're not buying houses in droves. We just have to get them to your website instead of Zillow. So really think outside the box. I would challenge you that anytime you're doing anything that is prospecting based, we need to be marketing enhanced. This is an example of that. So I'm prospecting by posting something on social media. Where do I want to send them? And send them to something, not just your homepage here, but to the actual listing or to the list of properties. So again, challenge yourself. How many people do I want to send this to daily? And what's the intentionality behind that? Let's just get your website out. We have to get that out to more people. So that is step number one. Step number two, I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but I want you in chat. I want you to type, there's probably like 3 to 5 questions that you always get from consumers about real estate. You don't have to type 3 to 5, but I want you to type like, what's the number one question that you get? And it could be from potential sellers. It could be from potential buyers. It could just be from your friends. What is the number one question that you get about real estate? I want you to type that in the chat, and we're going to do a little exercise on this. I'll give you just a couple moments and then I'll read them for people that are potentially watching this later. Okay. Yeah, a lot of how's the market, interest rates, lots of how's the market, interest rates, how's the real estate market, how's the market, how much is my home worth? Okay, cool. Interest rates. Do you know about XYZ location? When are the rates going back to normal? This is the new normal. This is how we live now. What can I get for my property? Okay, cool. So I think you know what people are asking, and you are the professional. So we need to figure out how can we have all of our knowledge in one easy place that's easy for them to find. And a lot of times that can be a blog. So you all literally in 5 seconds just came up with, if we looked at this, like literally 3 to 5 questions. So someone told me once, if you continue to get the same question, make a video about it, because we can stop what we're doing and we can answer it 100 times, or we can answer it once via video where it feels like we're having a one-to-one conversation. And then that is something that I can put on a blog in a video, or you could do it where you're just typing it out, whatever you'd like to do there. But I encourage you, these are great questions. What can I get for my property? What do you know about X area? How long will it stay on the market? What's the market like? When will interest rates come down? So we came up with 5, but I challenge you to think even like a little bit deeper and think more buyer specific and think more seller specific. So now let's do the same exercise and I'll have you write in chat. As a seller, what are some of the top questions that you get from sellers that you are working with? And this could be like before the listing presentation. This could be during the listing process. This could be once the home goes under contract. This could be all those different things. So let's just see. I'll give that just a moment for those to come in. So yeah, like how long will it take to sell my house? What do you charge? What do I need to do to get my house ready to sell? How long will it take for my home to sell? What is my net profit after everything? Let's see if we have some additional ones coming in. So those are kind of like the ones that we'll start with. Now let's think on the buyer side. What are some questions that you get either during the buyer consultation or as you're showing homes to your buyers? What are some of the questions that you're getting maybe throughout the entire process when they are under contract? What are the questions that you get before closing? You're getting the same questions every time. And I know you are because you're so quick to immediately put them in chat here. Where can I best invest my limited funds to get my home ready for a listing? Okay, so then we're moving into buyers. What are my closing costs? How much do I need to close? What are my closing costs? What is my monthly mortgage? So all of these different things. For buyers, it's really like, what's the money, right? For first-time home buyers, they might be like, what's an inspection? What's due diligence? What do I even need to bring to closing? This is my first time doing it. But you know these questions because you're able to come up with them so quickly. So if we know what people are asking, we need to be the source of knowledge for them to find it. So here's my second task and my second challenge to you and how you're going to show higher on Google. Every time you get a question like that you are finding, my goodness, I'm getting that question a lot, write a blog post about it. So every single time that you get that question, you're going to write a blog post about it. I bet you wouldn't need any more than 10 blog posts if I had to guess. Now, then we're going to continue to add because Google likes new content. That's what tends to have you rank higher, is that there's new, fresh content there. But literally, if you just started with the top 3 questions that you're getting from sellers and the top 3 questions that you're getting from buyers, and you made 6 different blog posts about it, and you published them each individually, you would fly very, very quickly to at least like one of the first few pages of Google, and then just increase your standing there. Now, here's what I get though. When we say a blog post, people think, well, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to write. I'm better at speaking. Put me in front of anybody I can speak. I don't want to write it. So we have some easy things for you. First of all, if you don't know what to write about, or you think, is this what people really want to hear about? Is anybody from Ballantyne here? Can you just put a yes in chat if you're from the Ballantyne Market Center? Okay. Elizabeth and Megan, I need you to, this is a shout out to your amazing Market Center tech trainer, Leah and Jules. They shared this resource with us on the MCTT call. You want to take this, and I will drop this in chat. This is answerthepublic.com. And so what this site does is you can create a free account and you can search up to 3 times a day for free for 3 different things. So I can come in here at just answerthepublic.com. I'll drop it in chat, and I can search. I've already done it once, but I'm going to search for real estate, and I'm going to do it in the United States. Now this is on Google, which is what we're talking about today, but I can also say Bing, YouTube, or Amazon. I'm going to do Google, and then I'm going to just move zoom around and hit search. And then it takes a minute because you'll see it's going to really pull up like this whole visual thing here. I can have it as a list, I can have it as a table, and I can have it as a wheel. And so what this does is it pulls data in based off of today, what are people asking? And so I can see down here, I can see if the question is about R, It's, are real estate taxes deductible? Are real estate agents in demand? Are real estate prices dropping? If I move into can real estate be a side job? Can real estate agents work from home? Can real estate taxes be deducted? Can real estate make you rich? If I move into how real estate works, how real estate developers think, how real estate commissions work. If I move into what real estate fees are tax deductible? What real estate license should I get? If I move into when, my head is just moving a little bit. When will the real estate market crash? I don't know that I do a blog on that. When will the real estate market recover? And then if I move into where is real estate the cheapest in the United States? Which real estate app shows crime? We're going to stay away from that one. Which real estate company is best for new agents? If I move into who, which real estate investment trust? If I move into why is real estate a good career? If I move into will real estate agents be obsolete? You will never. And then will real estate agents be replaced by AI? Couldn't even dream about it. So you've got all of these different questions. Now we could type in different topics, right? I just did real estate. We could type in different topics here, and then that allows us to see like, okay, here's what Google-wise people are searching for when we just talk about real estate. You can also look at Bing. You can also look at YouTube. Chris, I see a hand raised, and while you're, maybe if that's intentional, asking a question, I'll drop this link in chat. Okay, thinking it is not intentional. Cool. So has anybody ever, I'm just curious, a yes or no in chat. Did anybody know about this site, answerthepublic.com? Just a yes. Yeah. So good. Yeah, I had no idea. So this is, I just think, incredible for you. If you don't know what to write about, this is, at least we can kind of look at, like, this is what people are interested in, right? So I just dropped that link in there. Now, once we know, okay, this is whatever people are searching for, I want to write a blog post about it. There's a lot of you that might say, I'm comfortable writing a blog post. I'm fine. I'm going to do it myself. I'll do maybe a video about it. There's some of you that might say, I'm not comfortable doing that, and I don't want to do that. That is where ChatGPT comes into place. So just a yes or no. Have you ever used ChatGPT? Yes or no in chat? All the time. Yeah. How did we write listing information before, right? How did we do that? Okay. Yeah, for listing descriptions. Okay, cool. So for those of you that maybe, it looks like a ton of you have used this before, which I think is incredible. A lot of you maybe have not, or have like tiptoed into it. The best piece of advice with ChatGPT is we need to really ask it and tell it what we want. So we have to think of this as like almost like a baby assistant, if that makes sense. So instead of me saying like, write me an article about real estate, I might say, write a short blog post about why someone should be pre-approved before they start to search for homes, right? So that's what we're actually going to say. So we're going to say in ChatGPT, write a quick blog post about why a buyer be pre-approved before they start their home search. And then in seconds, it's going to write this for me. Now I am dealing with the free version of ChatGPT. So because we never want to plagiarize anyone, we might want to come in here and do this and then add our own to it, kind of rinse it through again, recycle, so that we're literally not just like taking this from an article that ChatGPT has found and just putting it up and saying that it's our own. So just asterisks on that. We're never going to just copy this, throw it up there and say it's ours. We're going to make some changes to it. We're going to rework it a little bit. We might speak with our local lender and get a quote from them of the process or why they should do it. But you can see that literally in seconds, I asked for this blog post. It gave me a title, it gave me a description, and it gave me 5 reasons why you should be pre-approved as a buyer before you start your home search. Now I can completely change this. From here, I can say, I don't like that. That's a bad response. I can regenerate if I'm like, I feel like I don't like part of this, or I can copy it and then work from it there. And that's where I could create the blog post from this. And then we're going to walk through how to do this. But what I'm then doing is that's the link that when I have a potential buyer and they say, well, why do I even need to like look at my finances before we start to look at properties? I'm going to answer them and say, I'm so glad you asked that question. I get that question a ton. And I actually have a full article that I wrote on the top 5 reasons why you want to make sure you're doing that. Let me send you the link. And then I know you might know a bunch of first-time home buyers as well. Feel free to share this with anybody as well. And then we can take this that we've created and we can post this on our social media and we can say exactly what I just said. I'm working with a ton of first-time home buyers and they had questions as to why they should XYZ, and we're just pulling everybody over to this blog post. So you know the questions, you know what people are interested in. We have the resources if we don't know, where we can look at the answerthepublic.com. Once we know the question, we can literally use ChatGPT to build out an article and then just make some changes for us. And then we're just going to copy it and take it and put it in a beautiful blog post. So that is what we're going to do now. I'm going to copy everything from ChatGPT. I'm going to go into Command. I'm going to go into my consumer site. I'm going to edit my website. And then that's going to take me over. I know a lot of you have done a lot of editing already, so this is going to look really familiar to you. I'm going to come into my blog post right here. I'm going to create my headline here. Now I'm just going to take the body right here and paste all of that. But my headline might be this title right here, the smart move. And again, I'm not making changes here. We would absolutely be making changes, just a note of that. And then we're going to get rid of the title here. Excuse me. We're going to push this up. And then we're going to come right up here. This is the sub headline. So what I might actually do is I might take this and make that the sub headline. And I'm going to call this like the smart move instead. That's all I'm going to call that. And so then you'll see it starts to move everything over here. Literally in seconds, I've created this. Now I can come down here, I can add an image, I can add a video. We're not going to do that just for the sake of time. I can, if I say I want to link to something here where I have maybe a link to one of my vendors where you could start the pre-approval process. If I wanted to add anything here, I can do all of that through here. If I wanted to make something bold, if I wanted to do that, this is kind of your editing suite right here. But I'm literally just for the sake of time going to take all of this. And then you'll see right over here, we've got this save right here. We want to make sure that we're saving our work. We also have the ability right here to schedule this out. So I know a lot of you on this call work very differently. Some people might say, nope, I created this. I want to publish it right now. I want it on my site. Some of you might say, I'm going to calendar out some time and I'm going to do what I said I would. And I'm going to post 10 blog posts. But I want to schedule them. I don't want them to all go out on the same day. I want every week for 10 weeks, I want a new blog post. You can come right in here and you can schedule this out and say, I actually want this to go out Friday, March 8th at the same time we're at right now, 12:41. So you could come in here and you can say, okay, every month I'm going to schedule out 4 blog posts. Every month I'm going to do a what's going on in the market. We knew that that was the #1 thing. I'm going to make a video and then I'm going to post it right in here. And then I can schedule that if I wanted to, or I can say, let's just do it now and set that. And then literally that's it. Like the blog post is live. It does everything for you. We can see all of that through there. Now, if I don't love it, if I realize like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, or I want to copy this and do something, switch it, or if I want to delete it permanently, if I realize like, oh, gosh, I never want that. I made a mistake there. I can delete that directly from here. Just going to hit save again. You'll see it saved it again. We can return to the dashboard. And then from there, I could go back in and create another blog post as well. So I get that sometimes I think we hear the word blogging and it freaks us out a little bit because we think like, I'm not a writer. We literally in like 5 minutes did that together. Now, again, we would want to refresh it through ChatGPT. We would want to make sure we're adding some changes to it. But I think it's a lot easier than it used to be. And we don't have to make it as difficult. And you know the questions, you know what people are interested in. I would challenge you to take it a step further. And maybe you do like a What's Up Wednesday, right? I like different things. So like maybe we do a What's Up Wednesday where every Wednesday you jump on social media, you do a 60-second video message of like, hey, it's Sydney Keller Williams United. This is What's Up Wednesday and here's what's up this week. I get a lot of questions of why buyers should be pre-approved. Here's the top 5 reasons why you should be pre-approved before you are looking at properties. Click on the link below to find out more. Feel free to reach out with any questions. So yeah, we'll go back again to the editing. So this is on the new site. So if you haven't upgraded your site, that's the first thing that we would want to do. But once we're logged into Command, we go to the bottom section right down here, which is Consumer. Once we go into Consumer, we've got Edit My Website right over here. Once we click into Edit My Website, it takes us to this, which is basically just our third-party vendor that is managing your new site. I said that I wanted to do a blog post. So I came right here, blog post, and then literally it just builds it out for me. So it's telling me this is your headline, this is your sub headline, which is not required, but if you want to have one, you can. And then this is the body. This is where we would actually do the blog. Now right here, I can add a photo if I want it from the gallery. I can upload a photo. So if you wanted to do that, you could, but for me, I just think it's easy just to have the text there and just send it out that way. So this is all under the editing my site, and then we literally just go into the blog post from there. Cool. Any questions? Rebecca, can you also answer on answer.com? You could probably use that instead of the Answer the Public. I'm not as familiar with that. I just found out this one, but if you have different resources like that, I think as long as you feel like they're trustworthy, we could kind of go from there as well. Cool. All right, so step 1 was how are we communicating our website? We have to have more visitors to it. So just figuring out how many people do I want to send my website to daily? What's the reason that I'm sending them to it? Is it for price reductions, open houses, new listings, a list of areas, whatever that is? Number 2 is to continually add new content to it. A lot of that can be through a blog. We walked through like literally how easy that is. Finding that you have the questions that people are asking, right? And I mean, I think thinking about like when you're hosting an open house, if you do that, as the buyers come through, they're going to ask you questions about the property. They're going to ask you questions about real estate process. So just starting to think like, as you get those questions, could that be a blog post? If one person's asking it, I bet a lot of people are. And then what happens is Google reads what's on your page. And so as people are searching and saying, why should I get pre-approved before I look at a house? You start to rank higher because you have that, you're hosting that on your site. So just really thinking about that. Last thing that we're going to talk about are custom pages, and really figuring out how do you want to use these and why do you want to send these out and how does that make sense? And so sometimes I see that there's some confusion on the new sites between a custom page and a landing page. So a custom page is something that when we're looking at your website, a custom page is something that's going to live on your site until you go in and remove it. So over here under more, I have some custom pages of a mortgage calculator, why work with Keller Williams. I have a test one. I have a testimonial one. So no matter what happens in my business, these are things that I feel like people might want to have access to that I have here at all times. That's a custom page. So think of it like I always want that to live on my website. I don't want it to go away. A landing page is kind of a one and done. And so a landing page might be, I'm holding some sort of event and I want this landing page, which is not housed under my website. So if your website is this little umbrella, it's over here. A landing page you have to send people to, you have to have the URL. They cannot find it from your website. It is completely separate from your website. It's almost invisible from your website. Sometimes I have people that do client appreciation events and they want a landing page just for that event. I have some people that say, I want a landing page for this one listing. And once the listing goes under contract, I don't want that landing page to exist anymore. I'm more of a fan of using like a custom page because I think we need to just continue to build and create content that lives on your site. And I just think the website itself is so easy. If I had an open house, I can create a digital sign-in sheet very easily here. If I have a new listing, I would just search for the listing and that's the page that I would look for that. So you might have specific reasons why you want a landing page, but the first thing that you need to determine is, do I want this to live on my site forever? That would be a custom page. Do I want this to have something that I just have temporarily or for a one-time use? That would be a landing page. So when we come into your website editor right here, you'll see that you also have custom page and you have a landing page. So a lot of you, when you were asking the questions of sellers, you were saying one of the top questions that I get asked a lot is how much is my home worth? And so we have a great module that you can use for that. So I just clicked into custom page. Now you'll see I've got a page title right here, which is required. So what is my home worth? And we might reword this, but for the sake of time, we're just writing that. And then we've got a page header down here. So if I wanted none, I could do that. If I wanted a background image, I could add that. And then down here is where we're actually adding the content. I'm going to add this and you'll see you've got a lot of options here. You've got a listing carousel. You've got a listing location. You've got rich text. This is similar to a blog. I would just use a blog for anything like this. But again, we just have options if you'd like that. We've got a stat list. So a lot of times I have agents that say in this area where I farm in 2023, like 80% of the home sales were listed by me. Great. That's an incredible stat. So we would want to come down here and make this stat list for that. And then down here, we've got testimonial list, we've got video, and then down here, we've got these additional modules. A lot of you said, I want a home value search component. We're going to click into that. So if you want curious to know what my home is worth, we have that built out for you. So you literally, like all of the contents here, you can reword this if you want, but the title is ready to discover your home's value. And then the description is let's find your home to get started. And so literally I could come in here and I could in seconds publish that page. And then that would live on my website where they can enter their home address. It shows them a range. So it's not going to say your home is worth $450,000. It's going to say your home is worth $425,000 to $499,000. You will get a contact notification that you have a new lead, and you'll be able to see that they came from this and what they entered. Now, this is not going to be on your home page. This is going to be on a page underneath a custom page. So I'll walk back through this again, because I know a lot of you, this might be the first time that you're seeing it. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Excuse me. This is a custom page. You can do it as a landing page as well, but I would highly recommend we just do it as a custom page that lives on your site. We're going to do this as a custom page. And then we've got all the information over here, the page title, heading. I'm not going to do anything there. I'm going to come down on the left and under page contents, I'm going to add a module. And then it is none of these over here. It's not a stat list. It's not anything. We have to keep scrolling down until we get to those additional modules. And it is the third one, home value search component. We would then click into that. You can see it builds it out for you in seconds. And then we've got everything over here. Now we could add to it if we want more wording or anything like that. We could do that, or an image. We can do all of that through here. But then once we like it, we would just choose publish, and then it would publish that custom page for you. So again, from the home page, it's just a custom page. And then we're going all the way to the bottom and adding that additional. And then you'll see we've got custom pages here. We've got what is my home worth? We have that right here. So as we take a look at the website, you'll see then that lives under the more. We can come right here to what's my home worth. They would enter their home address here. Let's go. It gives them a range. You get a lead notification. Monica had a great mention in chat. We can use lead management to tag them, add them to a smart plan. You will get notifications as well. We would want to call them immediately for that. So here's a recommendation. I encourage you to think of, just like blog post, think of how can I use custom pages? I think of it this way for sellers. If I have testimonials, that's a custom page. If I have that stat list of in this specific area, these are all the homes that I've sold. That is potentially something that I'm sending to sellers ahead of time. And I'm saying, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I understand that testimonials are probably very important to you. here's a link to my website where you can see all of my satisfied clients. I understand that me knowing the local market is very important to you. Here's a link to a page that shows all of our home sales for the last year, specifically in your area. On the buyer side, right, we might have a blog post, we might have testimonials as well, because we get those from buyers. So just thinking about, like, before I go, where can I send them something where I send them value? We have to make it make sense. And so we're just sending them constantly to the site for that, because then they're going to share it, right? Because Zillow might have a great home search, but Zillow doesn't have, I'm your agent and here's everything I do for you. Whereas this website can have that for you. And I understand that when we look at the website from the very beginning, to sometimes it's like, gosh, this is very complicated and I don't know where to start with this. If you start with anything, number one, I would tell you it's number one that we started with today, which is, how can I get this site out? What are the reasons I want to send this out? What listings do I want to send out? Really getting into the habit of that. Number two are the blogs. We saw how easy those were. And then the third one is just figuring out, what custom pages do I want? We sometimes have a tendency to go overboard. So really, like the what's my home worth, there's a mortgage calculator, all of these different things that you can use. And so figuring out, what custom pages do I want? I don't just need to have 20 custom pages to have 20 custom pages. I need to figure out, what do I need? What are the clients looking for? What do consumers want? Because that's what I really need to be delivering on for that. So I'm going to give you just a couple resources. I'm going to drop them in chat. Number one is, we've dropped this in chat just a couple times, but I know some of you jumped on and maybe didn't grab it. These are two resources. The first one takes you to our Facebook page, which is where you can see updates about classes like this. The second one is our YouTube channel, which is where this recording and other recordings will live. We talked about two resources when we talked about blogs. One is answerthepublic.com. The other is ChatGPT. I just dropped links for both of those in the chat as well, making sure that when we're using ChatGPT, that we're doing our due diligence and we're making sure that we're changing things there, so we're not just completely ripping off an article that ChatGPT found online. The final thing that I'll drop in there, and this is a slew of articles, but this is a really great resource for everything that you have through your new website. It's links to articles where it's broken down. How do I add a custom page? How do I add the mortgage calculator? How do I find whatever it might be? Insert your question there. But this has a full, it's literally like the entire class that we taught today, as well as additional stuff. It's the full section for your website for that. I would tell you, don't be overwhelmed, because the vast majority of your website is going to already be set up for you. It pulls in from your marketing profile. It's going to have your contact information. You're really not going to have to do a lot. The listing search is already there for you. It pulls in based off of IDX through all MLSs. So you don't have to do a lot there. I would just challenge you to think, like, what do I really want to make sure that I'm getting out to clients and consumers, and then go from there. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. I completely understand that you taking 56 minutes out of your day for anything is a lot, and I don't take that lightly. So thank you so much for being here. I've got a couple minutes. I'll pause the recording, but I have like 3 minutes that I can stay on until I have my next session. So if you have any questions or need anything, feel free to stay on. We'll process the recording, hope to have it on YouTube by end of day or first thing tomorrow. And I would encourage you, put a plan in place, reach out to your Market Center tech trainer. You all have incredible Market Center tech trainers. I know they want to help you with this. I know they might have an upcoming workshop. Maybe you have additional questions. They're amazing, and I know they can help you with that as well. So thank you all so much for